Heat Nation, hola mi gente. Series es finito. You like my Spanish? Shout out to all the people in Miami, the Cubans down there. But I just want to say this, I was right. It takes a long time to be right.
At some point, Jimmy Butler is going to flame out and it's going to be too much for him.
Nobody wants to hear the truth. But in the end, I always win.
I know. I said Heat in 7. Who's winning?
Nuggets in 6.
Nuggets in 6.
Heat in 7. But you know why I said that? Because I'm a hater. And here's my thing. I think teams should embrace the super team. The teams in the West are just too good. So you need something to combat that. Dame, I know you get on live all the time and you're trying to force your way out.
Oh no, I'm going to the Lakers, bro.
You need to force your way to the Miami Heat. Pat Riley, get your old ass out there and get Dame to the Miami Heat. You don't need Matt Strus. You don't need Gabe Vincent. You don't need Caleb Martin. You don't need them boys, because you know what? The undrafted play like the undrafted. You need Dame fucking Dollar to come to Miami to be like Will Smith, rap his ass off and play on the court. At the same time, a dual fucking threat. I love Dame Dollar. You need to get to the Miami Heat right now so you can compete for the championship. If you don't, Miami Heat, your window is closed. This is around the fucking key. This is where we pass the ball like the Golden State Warriors, and we got Brady fucking Buckets, host of the Knicks Fireside Podcast. Hello, my brother.
Appreciate you having me.
You know, let people know what you do. Like, introduce yourself.
Big Knicks fan, suffering Knicks fan, but things are getting better. Jalen Brunson gave us a glimpse of hope, so I'm doing a little better than if you saw me a year ago. Do all things sports and content, podcast, TikTok, social media, video editing, anything in that range. I'm your guy, and I appreciate you guys having me.
You guys beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, where everybody loved they was going to make a deep run in the playoffs, and you beat them. You whipped that ass. But what happened when you played the Miami Heat?
If Jimmy Butler and Caleb Martin and Gabe Vincent play like they did in the finals, I wouldn't be here because I would be down in Times Square or whatever we would celebrate. I don't know where Knicks fans celebrate because we haven't had a championship. We might have won the championship. They knocked us off.
Might have.
They knocked us off. We could have taken down Boston. They're a better team than us. We could have taken them down, and we probably would have lost to Denver and Jokic.
This has been the most unserious season of all time. There's so many moments. So what is your most unserious moment of the season?
A lot of things stand out there that are going through my brain, but I gotta go with LeBron's meltdown, LeBron's temper tantrum. We all remember late in the season, Lakers are making a playoff run, game-winning bucket. He gets smacked over the head by Tatum. They don't call a foul. You can't put that on social media. You can't give us the ammo. It was a foul. You just can't give it to us. Let me add one more thing. Patrick Beverley goes and grabs the photographer's camera, shows the ref that it was a foul. Who's that ref? Eric Lewis, who just got suspended for allegedly having a burner account. So this whole thing, I mean, that's gotta be my number one moment of the season.
It's just the whole dynamic of everything is just like, it seems like it was just fucking insane. Like the ATV, that's, you know why it's funny to me? Because they call that ref Gucci Man. So he looks exactly like Gucci Man. So he's on the ATV riding around and shit. That is, well, like, what the fuck was he doing?
He looks like Bowser, like on like the Mario Kart where he's like spinning shit around.
What was your most unserious moment, Colin?
I mean, for me, it's like when Julius Randle was in the 3-point shooting contest and was shooting so horribly that his son was crying in the stands. I don't know. I was like, I thought that was hilarious. I also loved when Tyler Hero threw a lob to 40-year-old Udonis Haslem at the beginning of the season and him just collapse onto the floor. And we've all been there, those of us who are wash ball players. So yeah, those were my two favorite.
Honorable mentions. Shannon Sharp, T. Morant fight at the Lakers game was patently ridiculous. You have one guy for the Lakers, one of the star's dad. They're both courtside. They both have nothing to do with the game. They insert themselves. Shannon Sharp is wearing this blue cardigan that it will forever be a great image.
Ja Morant saying that he's going to run through the West and you didn't have a problem there. Then Dylan Brooks calling LeBron old.
You're not wrong. But
I mean, he's not wrong, but he got fucking blitzed after that.
Didn't matter, yeah.
I feel like next season is going to be even better. Is this the start of a Nuggets dynasty?
And the last step is after you're a champion is to be a dynasty. So we're not satisfied.
The Nuggets have shown that they've been able to build from within, which is not an easy thing to do. They're going to be there. I've heard people talk about the runway. The runway is there. They have the team. They have the youth. The only guy they're going to lose this offseason is Bruce Brown. And I think that Christian Braun showed that he can slide into that role with the stuff he showed in the finals.
It's hard to have a dynasty. We did have two in the last 20 years. We had the Spurs and the Warriors. But when you look at that, you have two generational players, and not just that, two like really good dudes and good teammates that were able to keep that core together. The factors, you don't just pluck dynasties out of the air. So they won one championship. No, dynasties are not easy. So no.
This might not be a dynasty, but this is their window to win a championship in terms of competing for it, right? They may not win it next year, but the year after that, they could compete and go win another one. So, I mean, in terms of dynasty, we don't really know. That's just something we will have to see over time with obviously moving pieces and free agency. If Jokic doesn't win another championship, how do we look at this championship and Jokic down the line?
Like I say with dynasties, championships are hard. It's not easy to stack up championships. If he gets no more championships and wins a couple more MVPs and has these type of stat lines the next 5-6 seasons, to me, he's still one of the all-time players.
When you look at like other people like Jokic or like even the Miami Heat, right? I said this before, the Heat can lose and nobody cares.
Matt Strus makes a shot. I'm like, that's cool. Bruce Brown, like, I don't give a fuck about Bruce Brown.
When the Golden State lost, it was like a big fucking deal. When the Cavs lost, it was like a big fucking deal. Both of these teams could have walked away. It was like, oh, we had a great season. With Jokic, and we put them in like the GOAT conversation, I think this is a sign of longevity where you need to have if you're going to be in that GOAT conversation.
So I think the reason we're all thinking and we're saying, hey, this guy could be one of the greatest bigs of all time, is he already in that conversation, is because he's so young, you expect him to get more.
If you had to start a franchise today, would you use Giannis or would you use Jokic?
If I'm going to start a franchise right now with one player between Giannis and Jokic, I'm going Giannis. It's so easy to push him aside. We live in the moment. I do, you do, everyone does. The finals might have been better than Jokic. I think he averaged 35 a game in the finals. He's a monster.
If I'm starting with a franchise right now, I'm starting with Jokic. For me, seeing Giannis play hot potato with the ball at the end of the fourth quarter was just a huge red flag to me. It's something we've seen with him before. His greatest problem has been shooting, and he has not seemed to fix it. Jokic's biggest problem has been defense. In the finals this year, he held his opponents to, I believe it was 40.1%. The guys that he was guarding, I think Jokic has a higher ceiling. I'm riding with Jokic.
I might be riding with Jokic too. I think in today's NBA, shooting is important. The way the game is now, especially if you're a center and you can do that, you can spread the floor, and along with your ability to pass like that, I think that's so hard to defend. With Giannis, we know how dominant a force is, but you know how to kind of stop that in a sense.
Can you?
It's happened a lot of times.
So
It's happened
the
a
thing
lot of
is,
times.
he can't shoot. But if he's getting 30 without shooting, then what's that say?
But the Celtics beat him last year too, and he was healthy. You have to think about, what does one do better than the other? And obviously, shooting, hands down, passing, hands down, is better. It's so hard. If you put shooters around Jokic, you're not stopping that, bro. At a certain point, because he's going to get 40. If you want to get 40, he's still going to be able to win the game. And all right, if you say take away that, he's going to be able to kick it out.
Jokic and Murray has to be the best duo in the league right now.
Where do we rank Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray as far as duos?
Right now, so we have what? Tatum and Jaylen Brown, Steph and Clay,
AD, LeBron,
and Embiid, Harden. Oh, Durant, Booker.
The two younger guys who just won championships.
Okay,
I think you got to put Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray at 1.
I agree.
I think at 2, I'd rather LeBron and AD all day. Them is health, right? But I feel like if they're healthy, they're 2. Obviously, I think 3 is KD and Book. I think 4, if depending on what happens, I think it's Jason Taylor and Jaylen Brown. And then 5 is
Steph and Clay. PG and Kawhi.
No, Steph and Clay. The whole Kawhi shit, until it happens, I'm not believing to that shit, bro.
The only thing I'll change is I think I'll go Booker and Durant over AD and Brown. Booker in the playoffs was unreal. He was unconscious.
He was.
Durant is still Durant. He was 50, 40, 90 this year, I believe. He was great. Listen, they lost to the Nuggets, so we forget about them, but we didn't realize how good the Nuggets were at the time. I just... LeBron, I just think that that's a deadly scoring option. I'll take him over LeBron and AD.
Has to be Jokic and Murray for all the reasons we just talked about. They just won. They both had insanely efficient number, great splits. I'm an efficiency guy, so I'm going to go KD and Book at number 2. I'll go LeBron, AD right behind them. I'll go Boston next, and then Steph and Clay.
The funny thing is people were calling Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum the best duo for a large part of the season.
That's because Boston fans make up such a mass, and they just cram everything down your throat.
Celtics, I'm not buying them ever again, bro. It's like the whole idea of the super team dead. When you look at this finals, the Heat made it. They weren't a super team. And the Nuggets aren't a super team. So you just had a team win a championship. I think the last time we seen a team win a championship that wasn't a super team was the Bucks, but that was the perfect storm. I don't think trios is dead, right? Because I feel like what happened with the Heat shows you why you need a big, strong trio. I feel like with Jokic and Jamal Murray, they have a two-headed monster, but they also have pieces around that work with. When you look at like when the Lakers won it in the bubble, it was Bron and AD, and then they had a different piece every night. You still need that third piece to get that motor going.
I'll take 3 stars on my team any day. But I do think it becomes a little redundant. The Nets super team, Kyrie and Harden, and obviously Durant, like there's a little extra there. It's almost like my turn, your turn, your turn, instead of like this conduciveness. You get 3 top 15 players together and it's going to be a good team. But I think you could do it with 2 stars and role players, like you said.
I'm not going to say super teams are dead or trios are dead. I will say that building a super team is no longer the number one way you should build a championship team, just because the way you do it, like mathematically, like we look at the Suns right now, they're trying to cut Chris Paul because they're going to owe him $30 million. If you are dishing out fat contracts to 3-year players, there's only so much money to go around to flesh out your bench. I think that's where the problem is, because you can still win if you have those 3 guys and they all stay healthy and, you know, none of them fall off or anything. But if someone gets hurt, it's such an easy domino effect where everything can come down. I just think the risk reward is super high with a super team, and there's a chance for more sustained success.
The Athletic said that Jimmy Butler is a guaranteed Hall of Famer, and I agree with that.
Have you allowed yourself to think what it would ever mean to you to be elected into the Basketball Hall of Fame?
Yes, I have.
And what do you think?
Don't care.
You don't care whether you're a Hall of Famer?
No, I don't.
When you look back at his career, I mean, going to 2 finals and doing what you did, like in these runs, I think that's pretty impressive, like personally. But the NBA is a fucking cakewalk. He'll be in the Hall of Fame.
It's like
for sure.
in the NBA, it's like if you average 20 a game for like 6 to 7 seasons, they'll throw you in there.
I agree, he's a Hall of Famer though. I don't think anyone's going to look back on this run and say, oh, he didn't score a whole lot in the finals, he was bad in the finals. People are going to look back on this and say he brought his team from the play-in on his back through all the way to the finals, had the best run by an 8 seed ever in NBA history.
Tracy McGrady is my second favorite player of all time, and he hasn't made it out the first round. Yeah. And he's in the Hall of Fame. So like if he gets in the Hall of Fame,
I think it should be more about a few seasons of their peak. Like T-Mac's peak was incredible. T-Mac's peak is way better than a bunch of guys we talk about. He's above guys like, I don't know, someone like Paul Pierce. Like T-Mac's over him. Like T-Mac at a point was maybe the best player in the league for a year or 2. There's other guys who've had long careers and were good at the tail end that people speak highly of it, but I wish we talked about their peak. T-Mac was the definition of a walking bucket.
I love T-Mac, but just like those peak, you got to win a championship, bro. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about.
All right, so him or Jimmy Butler?
I think Jimmy might have been a better defender.
I'm going T-Mac over Jimmy Butler.
Me too,
but like,
thank you.
but I'm not having that conversation.
I'm just saying,
like,
when
if you don't win rings and you don't win championships,
Yeah,
like
what are we doing?
that's not how it works. The Houston Rockets considering James Harden or Kyrie Irving.
I want to learn from Kyrie.
I feel like those are both bad moves. James Harden putting on the fat suit and leaving and doing what he did to that franchise. I don't think he deserves to come back. I just don't. Who would be the better player for them? I think James Harden would be the better player. He has the potential to lead a team to the playoffs. Are they going to win a championship? No. But I feel like with Kyrie is a bucket, but I think Kyrie doesn't have the leadership skills to make a team get better.
I couldn't think of a worse fit, either of the guys for the Rockets, Kyrie or Harden. They're primed to be another top 5 pick. Go one more season, then you have 3 or 4 top 5 guys. At some point, you'll be good. Kyrie and Harden resets that whole thing. Kyrie's not great for the culture. Maybe Harden is because he's been there, but I feel like Harden would just be doing kind of a hometown victory lap. It kind of could have made less sense if you really think about it.
This is why the Houston Rockets are a losing organization. Both these guys don't make any sense because they're in the midst of a rebuild right now. I don't understand giving out max money to an older player. Do either of these guys make this a playoff team? I don't think so. I think they're a play-in team at best. So it doesn't make sense. I really don't see it. I feel like the Harden move, I said this before, is a move to just excite the fans and sell jerseys. And if that's what you're concerned with, then you're never going to be a winning team because you're not focused on winning.
Should the Pelicans move on from Zion? His weight, he hasn't been in shape. And obviously him being hurt, but doing dunks. If you're hurt, don't do dunks. And I think with the Mariah Mills thing, listen, you can go have fun with porn stars. Shout out Jimmy G. Jimmy G's done that same thing, you know, and he's been productive. He got to the Super Bowl off the court and all the drama that's happening. That's just not a good look for Zion as a whole. It's just drama that you don't need around your organization. It's something that you're trying to build and get away from. You're trying to build a winning franchise. And I think with Zion, obviously, if he's not on the court and he's bringing drama to your franchise, what's the next step?
Should they be fed up? Yes. Is he talented enough to kind of get over that? I think at the same time, because the injury is a separate thing. The Mariah Mills thing, and 1, hilarious. 2, Like, it's a distraction, but it is kind of the off season. It's not, we're going to forget about the Mariah Mills thing come next season.
I'm not. You're paying that woman $100K. I still can't get $100K a month, Colin.
That's a lot.
I don't
That's
give
a
a
lot.
fuck if you're rich. That's what she claims. She got text messages saying that he was paying her $100K a month.
If they think he's going to be healthy, if he looks healthy this summer, I don't think you give up on a star like that.
He's 23, and we haven't seen much of him. That's the problem. If it was like, all right, you played and you excelled, and then like down the line you're having these injuries, all right, cool. But you're young in your career. So if you're having these injuries now, you're having these problems now, what's the future going to entail?
If you were to trade Zion, it's so that you can go back and get picks to draft a player like Zion. I know he has these issues right now. I know he's got the injury thing, but Joel Embiid missed more games in his first 4 years than Zion did, and Joel Embiid just won the MVP. I'm not quitting on Zion. I think the Pelicans with a healthy Zion can be a championship contending team. I love their depth. Everything I talked about before about role players. They got Larry Nance, they got Trey Murphy, 40% three-point shooter. You got Jose Alvarado, who's an absolute pest. Herb Jones is one of the best defenders in the league. Those are all guys who are not getting paid a whole lot. Still got BI. You got CJ McCollum. I think that's a dangerous, dangerous team.
What happened to the OGs? I don't know. We need somebody to come in and fly in and talk to Zion something because the pimping's going wrong.
His snap text game is rough. He was like,
man.
I'll fly you in. I'm really excited.
I'm just very concerned about Zion. I want you to be successful, brother. Yeah, give me your handles and where they can find you out. Give them a plug.
Brett_Hanfling on Twitter, Bretty Buckets on TikTok. Throw me a follow on Twitter. It's where I do most of my work. A lot of Knicks stuff, but I'm fair sometimes. Maybe not when Jalen Brunson's going off, but give me a follow. This was a lot of fun.
Another episode of Hard in the Paint. Shout out Collins. It's been a fun ride. You know, the season is over, but that doesn't mean the show is over. We continue this motherfucking shit. You're going to continue to hear me say some crazy hot takes. You can continue to be mad at me. I want to thank my guy Ben and Ryan, the whole fucking team. The show goes on. Hard in the Paint. Like and subscribe. Gang. Does JBobby make you angry? Well, that's good. Let us know in the comments. Like and subscribe, baby.